The convergence of the deceptions and the present satanic seduction, AI, ChatGPT, and the Antichrist. Theory of mind, like countless similar notions in pop psych, pop philosophy, etc., is a complicated amalgamation of sophistry designed to cover up scientists' absurd but foundational aesthetic premises and deceive their readers into thinking that some quantifiable condition exists whereby we can finally conclude that AI has achieved those feats which have always rightly been known to be exclusive to human reason. The strategy is a familiar one throughout centuries of subtle mainstream atheism. Seek to demote absolute qualitative truths. Example, the fact that order cannot arise from randomness. The fact that intellect, will, are fundamentally non-material faculties which only humans possess, to mere quantitative calculations, and proceed to heap up massive piles of data relevant to the latter in hopes that people will 1. Forget that data cannot interpret itself, 2. Give up on following the data, and finally 3. Blindly trust the experts who assure us that the data they amass supports their own false ideological conclusions. People are already calling this the first stage of singularity. Here's what a certain CEO just announced to his over 100,000 Twitter followers. The first stage of singularity is here. Now is how we act and prepare for the second and more radical one. One expects the worldly to gobble up this utter atheistic nonsense. But the real tragedy here is that the faithful everywhere are succumbing to the same delusions. I want to avoid, for as long as I can at least, specifically calling out too many names here, but if you don't believe me, then just pop on social media or pursue the Catholic blogsphere. You'll see believers, Christians and Catholics everywhere succumbing to this diabolical deception, supposing that AI is now or may soon be sentient, rational, aware, emotional, free-willing, etc., just like they are succumbing to the alien and UFO nonsense. I will, however, reprove America Magazine. The diabolical, to the core nature of what is transpiring before our eyes, however, is not only rendered explicit in the words of the commentators, it is also openly admitted by the very engineers employed by the corporations generating these technologies. See, for example, what an OpenAI, the company that made ChatGPT, employee just announced last week. AI will strongly challenge the arbitrary differences presumed only humans can possess. I suspect many bright animals can also exhibit theory of mind. We just need to test in a language more native to them. ChatGPT has solved tasks designed to test theory of mind, whether we can understand people's mental states without specific training. What does that mean? Here we have an actual technical staff employee of the preeminent AI corporation unashamedly insisting that this glorified plagiarism generation machine, which, as I showed in this video, is all ChatGPT is, actually consists in a paradigm shift compelling us to reject what we have always known about human nature. If this isn't a preparation for the grand delusion itself, then nothing is. Here is how someone responded to him. Yes, absolutely. We will talk to animals this year. Indeed, another outgrowth of this same fundamental deception that beings other than men and angels have reason is the animal personhood deception. This deception has not yet gained the mainstream traction that the AI and alien deceptions have. There is admittedly less sci-fi mystique here, which is the primary emotion these diabolical deceptions are built upon. But beware, lest you find yourself unprepared if it, too, makes a sudden explosion onto the mainstream. There is absolutely no non-human animal on the face of the planet, or anywhere in existence, with reason. There never has been, and there never will be. It doesn't matter how much you love your kitty cat. It isn't a person, and it never will be. Don't believe anyone who claims he can unlock your animal's hidden communications for you. And if animal communications' secrets were ever revealed, here is all this revelation would entail. But let us return to the big picture. The primary proponents of the present nefarious agendas, like the Great Reset, are buffoons who, even if they dedicated their lives trying to inspire and attract the masses, would nevertheless scarcely succeed in rousing a single heartbeat. Therefore, using them directly to formally initiate the opening acts of the Great Deception itself is out of the question. Even if they are his minions, the devil must nevertheless instead make use of their works, not their persons, to institute the grand delusion. As the WEF's founder himself just declared 2 weeks ago, Klaus Schwab says, "Whoever controls AI, metaverse, will be the master of the world." This diabolical rousing of hearts is necessary for the pursuit of their agenda. Outright, top-down, entirely forced tyranny is unsustainable. It arouses too much malcontent, and rebellion after a brief period of time is generated. Just look at what happened with the COVID tyranny of the last few years. Too many people, thank God, refused to submit, and ultimately the most ambitious of the Great Reset plans in relation to COVID failed, which is why they are now busy preparing the next tyranny. What is far more likely to succeed is a tyranny that claims to be nothing but the official, government corporate component of the same movement the people already united in desiring. These reigning global elite are deeply aware of their ineptitude here. They are unlike tyrants of ages past who, though similarly evil, nevertheless could unfortunately succeed in inspiring the masses. Just look at pre-World War II Germany. Yes, our elites know they couldn't inspire anyone if their lives depended on it. Therefore, they have thus far focused their efforts to gain followers on strategies with which they have had more experience and success, paying for friends. Others who are more capable of generating inspiration received huge sums of money in order to promote the mainstream narrative crafted by the elite. But this approach will also only succeed to an extent. People can smell sellouts. Even the masses who have little resistance to diabolical agendas being foisted upon them nevertheless have an instinctive dislike for a famous and well-liked person who suddenly promotes an agenda that is discordant with, or at least absent from, his prior stated convictions. The global elite are also deeply aware of this limitation. Therefore, they have been long at work behind the scenes to overcome this final hurdle that has, thus far, prevented the realization of their explicitly stated aims of global domination. This is to say that they have long been at work grooming us for their day of disclosure, the day when they would finally announce those very diabolical deceptions they have long prepared, those satanic delusions which finally would succeed in darkly entrapping and mystifying the people in a way they themselves never could, and in generating a false and supremely evil pseudo-inspiration in the hearts of the masses. They are doubtless preparing to imminently announce many of the following quantum leaps in humanity, each and every one of which is a satanic lie. That AI has become sentient and even truly rational, that it exponentially surpasses any merely human intelligence, and that now we need only ask it for the answers to the deepest questions we have always had. That first contact has been made with more evolved extraterrestrial or ultra-terrestrial beings, that the secret of animal language has finally been unlocked, and we can now learn the hidden knowledge of Earth's millions of species, wisdom hitherto inaccessible to humans. That time travel has at long last been mastered, and even if we cannot physically travel through time, we can at least now receive communications from more advanced people from the future. That a new race of transhumans is now among us, their intellects fused with technology, thus giving them abilities we never could have dreamed of, and that correspondingly we must heed all of their decisions. That technology now exists which can directly access the mind, reading its contents, and thereby unlocking for you entire realms of knowledge you never knew you had, because you have hitherto only accessed a small fraction of your mind. Or finally, that a certain man is ready for his public ministry, a man with a solution to the existential crisis humanity finds itself in, a man who can save us, that is, the man of sin himself, the Antichrist, whose public entrance will soon be announced. Regarding that last point, remember that the devil always apes the things of God. The Antichrist, though human, will be the devil's greatest minion. Therefore, we should anticipate that this son of perdition will likewise claim for himself certain qualities that bear superficial resemblance to those of Christ himself. Just as Christ revealed himself as fully man and fully God, so too the Antichrist will perhaps claim he is a man like us, but also a supremely advanced man, a categorically different one. How exactly he will make his claim, we can only now speculate. But considering the deceptions now brewing in the world, noted above, we can make some educated guesses at what he might say. Perhaps he will claim a unique fusing of his own mind with AI. Perhaps he will claim to be a transhuman. There is no such thing. Perhaps he'll claim to either himself be extraterrestrial or at least be in a special contact with extraterrestrials.